What's up guys, and welcome back to another video. Today you join me fresh off the plane back from Copenhagen, and I have been around visiting every single skate spot, every single skate park I could find, and I even got a tour from one of the locals, but that video is going to be coming out in a few days, maybe next week. In this one I'm going to be going over the worst skate park I could possibly find, as well as the best skate park I could possibly find. The worst one was so bad, the ground was so crispy. That's the one we're going to get into first. I'm going to talk about it, go over some of the obstacles, do a trick on each one of them, and then after that I'm going to give the park a rating, and then we're going to go into the second park, which is probably the best park I've ever been to my entire life. It has a 13-foot vert ramp, it has some giant oververt waves, a huge pool section, loads of street bits, a 10 stair, a 6 stair, so much to skate. It's got something for all the family. So with all that being said, we're going to jump into the first park first and then talk about it a little bit afterwards. Let's get straight into it. Right, so we're going to sit and watch it together. Let's get straight into it. I'm also going to talk about any things I forgot to talk about along the way, as well as the fact that I just bought a drone. So if you enjoyed the drone footage, let me know, because I absolutely love it. And there was a kid trying to swat it out of the sky while I was filming this, which is an interesting little tidbit. Well, go on pussies, today you join me at the crustiest skate park I have probably ever seen in my entire life. We're in Copenhagen doing a whole skate tour, and trust me, there's been some great parks and spots here, but this one takes the cake for the worst of all time. And that is saying something, because we've reviewed some shit ones in the past. Behind me, as you can see, we actually have something of the skate park that's probably the only usable object. This thing here has got a quarter pipe on each side, and it's a little mini ramp. It's made out of wood, obviously, as most of this park is, and it's got a few imperfections, but you know what? This one's actually not too bad. So in between each obstacle I talk about, I do a nice trick. In this one, maybe not a nice trick, but in this one I lost my wheel. And then I think the only other thing I could get on the quarter pipe was like a little precious stolly off the side. Ended up missing the first one, but I think we cleared it second try. We've got a few dastardly objects in this park, so follow me right here. This thing starts off with about a 1 foot angle, 90-degree turn. We get a nice bit of rail here that you could potentially hit for a nice 50-50 or board slide, but then you hit the Tetris angle again and get another one of these, like a Z shape. I don't know how you're gonna hit that, but that's not even the worst part of the park. Yeah, there's nothing I could really do on this one apart from a caveman board slide, but second try, she came in nicely. Just right beside that, we actually have a movable object right here, and this is a totally tubular movable ledge that would be far better off being moved into the afterlife, because trying to move it will require 7 skaters, and if you've got 6 friends that are coming to this skate park, yeah, this obstacle here was so heavy. Like, you see the blue tubes that are meant to be copings, they're actually like rubber little circle, I guess, cylinder things, and they have nails sticking out of them on both ends. So if you were to hit that and maybe hang up and put a hand down, you would be nailed to the cross faster than bejeebus. Sort your priorities out. Couldn't even hit it from that side because the ground was so crispy, but got it from the second side. A crusty as fuck wooden jump box that even Tiny Hawk's a hawk named Tiny couldn't fly over. And even if you do making it over, you're hitting a curb and going face first into some chip plywood, and that ain't gonna be pretty. Yeah, some of this park, like, I'm gonna let's play actually, there was so many like little chip plywood bits that would always hang you up. I tried to go for a fakey big spin off there, but sadly didn't make it, so I had to go back and just ride off normally. The remains of what was likely a fire pit where the skate park's last hopes and dreams were burned to a crisp. A DIY slappy ledge that if you don't hit it correctly will likely slap the light straight out of your eyeballs. I love these slappy ledges, man, they're so nice. Even though that one's just like a tube, something like made out of whatever, like plastic or something, it was still super nice to hit. To be honest, an actually fairly usable ledge that doesn't really deserve its own bespoke introduction, because you could hit this one like normal. Just make sure you dodge the fire pit of hopes and dreams. Yeah, the coping stuck out massively on this one, so it actually made it quite skatable, to be honest. We've got a curved ledge currently that looks like it used to be stood up, but has been pushed over and forgotten and left to be swept away with the sands of time. Let's see if we can straighten her up to put a little bit of love back into the world. Nope, it's so heavy. It weighs about 10 tons, just like your old dear. On to the next one. Hit a little 180 revert back to Manny. Not a very commonly done trick, if I do say so. A hoop that has absolutely no idea which realm it resides in, because it's got its whispering eye on sideways. Just off to the side of that, we have an adult jungle gym that houses not only this little tail drop ledge, but also a really rare artifact. This is a stair set dating back to the prehistoric era, and this was probably from the same sort of time period when skaters first created fire in the form of a tail devil. So a very historical piece right here. So obviously this thing's not actually made part of the skate park, this is part of the parkour area, but I still managed to hit these tail drops down and clip the wheel. This took me so long to recover. Like, I landed that first one fairly quickly, but to get this second one that was slightly cleaner, It wasn't really worth it.
Final objects of the skate park, you can see we have a half pipe here. Now, deceivingly, this one might actually look pretty alright to you. That is until you realise that it's been broken and replaced far more times than even my teeth from doing drugs, sipping sugar water, and face planting the harsh realities of concrete. I mean, look at this bastard. You got ledges here, you got ledges here, you got ledges.
As you can see, so much of this ramp is like got these bumps here where all you have to do is lift up the front and back wheels as you go over each one, and you have to hit that from all of them. There's some on the ramp as well, not just on the flat bit. So this is like one of the most sketchy ramps I've ever skated in my entire life.
Here, and you've even got a complimentary puddle courtesy of the rain gods.
This isn't even taking into consideration how rough the top was. Alright, well that was the first skate park out of the way. Now we're going to jump into the second one. I would probably give that first one a 2 out of 5 Tonys, because if you didn't have anything to skate, you would definitely be up for going there. And trust me, if I was a little kid and there was no parks, I would certainly be using that. But the funny thing is, the second skate park that we're about to get into is 5 minutes down the road from this one. So when it's literally walking distance, there is no excuse not to be at the best one. And it was never even busy the entire time we were there. So you're going to definitely enjoy this one. We're going to sit and watch it together, and if anything pops to my mind that I forgot to say during the video, I'm going to pause and say that too. So with all that being said, let's jump straight into part 2. Got my drone footage out again. This skate park, obviously you can see it's got that oververt right there. So much going on, giant vert ramp. All you need, giant stair set.
Well, pussies, today you join me at the biggest, possibly best skate park I have ever been to. Right here, I'm standing in like a 13-foot vert ramp that obviously I was gonna shred it up, but there are some small puddles at the bottom, so I guess I'm not gonna be able to this session. But if you turn around, babes, and have a look at what's behind you, there is massive amounts of obstacles here, so you've got plenty to go over, plenty to go on. Starting with this little mini street section to the right. Let's go. Now, the way that we're gonna do this is we're gonna go over the obstacles, not necessarily gonna talk about every single thing, but I'm going to walk you through what we have, and then after I finish filming this, I'm going to do a trick on a bunch of these obstacles and overlay it over me talking over them. So starting us off, we're going to go down here into this corner. So we've got ourselves a nice steep bank to ledge here that you could definitely hit a little pressure stolly off into the ramp, but you do have a little puddle. Don't worry, the puddles don't come around too often at this park.
Very easy little stolly ramp there.
Then we've got one of the biggest boobs that you've ever seen, and I've seen your search history, so that's saying something.
Like, skate parks, I think, need to incorporate these more often. Like, these boobs, I call them. I don't know if they've actually got a proper name, but they give you so much speed, and they're great for pumping over. One of the best decisions for any park if you want to generate speed quickly, going into like a weird obstacle, like this little carving corner here.
Now, there's also plenty of seating area at this park. You've got benches all the way down. You can sit either side of them. And we've got a USA, American, that's right, Yankee fire hydrant. I've never seen one of these at a skate park ever. So it's a nice little touch to see. Hit an ollie over that, hit a backside 180 over that. Lovely.
Yes, I've since found out that they actually have these fire hydrants in Copenhagen, but I've never seen them anywhere else in Europe. Great for practicing the height on your tricks, though.
Pipe in the back there with no coping that often gets hit for grinds. As you can see, it's shredded to high heavens.
See, I don't know how I feel about these ramps with no coping, because while they are fun, you can easily ride out of a grind like that.
We have an absolutely giant gap that's just been cut out with a nice cookie cutter square shape. You can grind around the edges, you can ollie straight over, you can do whatever the hell you damn well please, because you're a free woman.
I hit a kickflip over this in a second, and it was scary going so fast. So I didn't want to hang up.
Edge right here, and you know I absolutely love a slappy ledge. There was one at the street spot that we were at the other day, and I hit the whole thing, and my God, it was so satisfying. Can we get the clip? We'll get in the clip.
This was by far the best slappy ledge I've ever skated in my entire life. This was just at a random street spot, which, by the way, Whole Street's getting video coming very soon with one of the locals to give me a tour around and give me loads of the local information. But either way, just listen to the sound on this bad boy. I'm going to say nothing. Beautiful.
Then next to that, you have a really long rail, great for a board slide, great for a truck grind, but you best know I ain't trying that.
I did actually go for a board slide, and I ended up hitting the truck and going to fakie, so I was quite happy with this. Rails aren't normally my thing.
Right here, we have a little marble one that can be used as a mani pad or hit from both sides. These are great because they grind so nicely and you barely ever have to wax them at all. Right here, we've got the extra large DLC slappy. I wonder if I could hit the whole thing, but you probably already know because the clip is on screen right now if I did. If I didn't, shut your whole mouth.
Again, so satisfying. Clean it up.
Right here we have a pretty tasty free block that actually looks fairly long, not too high though, so as long as you got the speed, which you have absolutely loads of run up, you can hit that perfectly fine. Maybe we'll hit an ollie, kickflip, tray flip, who knows? Only the future will tell.
I did actually try the tray flip on this one for a little while, but for some reason the cruiser board that I'm skating with the square tail, it just, for gaps, I could not get on with it. Like, obviously I'm just making an excuse, user error. A great skater would be able to do it on anything, of course, but for me a normal skate was way easier. I've got a giant video coming soon, probably like a 4-parter, where I go over every board shape to ever exist and rank them in a tier list over a few different videos. I've got like 7 or 8 different shapes to go, and I'm going to film that tomorrow, I think, so the first part will probably be out soon. But if you've got any shapes that you want to see in it sooner rather than later, drop them in the comments.
Up there, you've got an absolutely giant viewing platform for the mums and dads and anyone that's trying to get some footage of you, which is always nice to have. You never really have like an elevated watching area, and if there's a competition here, I'm sure that would be actually pretty damn sick to have. We've got one of the biggest, squarest mani pads that I've ever seen that you can grind from both sides. It's the perfect height for learning like slides on, 50-50s, 5-0s, nose grinds, and hitting a nice long kickflip mani on as well.
I loved this mani pad. It was just the right height so that you don't get too much impact off the trick, and just high enough so that you can hit, like, for example here, the kickflip mani worked perfectly. That was second try.
Before we get into this massive section here, which is more of like the skate park traditional area with the ramps, the carving corners and all that for the pool and bowl skaters, we're going to quickly finish off the street section over here. Right here on this side we have the doobla boob, not to be confused with the uniboob over there. Right now we have 2 movable rails that I actually thought was 2 separate rails, but it turns out it's one rail that goes out into 2 separate areas. So you can either come in from that way, or you can meet your friends in the middle for a little kiss and make up.
I've never seen one of these rails before in my entire life.
Totally up to you. Right here we have the world's smallest quarter pipe. Pretty scary drop in, but I'm one of the bravest to ever do it. Right here we have a super steep pyramid hip that is actually pretty, like, if you can ride up this nicely, you can pop huge off these things, but just be prepared, it's going to be an aggressive landing. Now we have another ledge, slightly taller for the NBA fans out there if you want to hit a big jump onto this one, and it also comes off at an angle. You could probably even hit it into that bank if you wanted to as well, or ride and grind along the top, because there's actually coping up here too. If you turn around, we've got this very small triangle-shaped kicker. It's very, very, very mellow, so if you wanted to practice hitting something out of it, you can pop from here, clear the thing. It's a little baby gap to practice on, you know?
Yeah, that one was actually really fun as well.
Right here, leading into the 10 stair and rail ledge right there, you have this almost a vert little mini quarter pipe here that'd be great for dropping in. The good thing about this is while you may not want to hit it for like a 5-0, which you can do if you want to be steezy, but you can drop it in for a bit of extra speed, and you should perfectly have the speed to hit the 10 stair right here, which for some reason has a bunch of styrofoam blocks. Who knows why? You tell me. This one right here is a nice little rail, square flat bar. Perfect for hitting grinds on. Am I going to do it? Subscribe to my OF to find out.
I really need to get into hitting rails like that, man. I definitely feel like I could. It's just about like risky. Like, I'm doing this as a full-time job now, so I don't really want to risk everything on a trick that probably wouldn't look that good even if I did land it. But I definitely need to break that barrier and get on some down rails and do more than a board slide. Because board slides are easy. I'd love to be able to do like a 50-50 Smith Feeble 5-0, but maybe I'll make a little learning video for my Patreon or something soon.
Right here we have the nice ledge on the side of it. That's not really actually too steep, to be honest. This is pretty doable, especially for how big the stair set is. It's a pretty long stair set, and it has a bank on the other side of it as well. So you could definitely like mini wall ride down that, or if you've got enough speed, come all the way up. Up to you. I don't mind. So this whole section here, I'm going to skim over with the drone footage because honestly, it's massive, and there are so many carving corners here, like around there. If you want to pump some corners and get used to like doing the transition, this is definitely the place of the park you want to be. Great for someone who's skating like a 9-inch board or wider, and you've even got a nice Euro gap here that's even longer than the wait for Brexit. So
like, this part of the park was so damn fun. You could pump here so much, get so much speed, maintain it as well. Like, there is, if you have like a big wide board and you're just one of them people that likes cruising, this is definitely the section you're going to spend most of your time in. Obviously you could do this in the giant pool as well, but this is just more fun of an area right here.
Who knows if we're going to make it over that, but we'll find out in a bit.
Hit the Euro. This Euro was massive. Like, the gap on that Euro, like the height obviously isn't too bad, but the gap was pretty mad. Just about made it.
Although I will quickly point out this section here that goes over this like middle bump as you can see, this thing does go vertical, and it goes all the way around. So if you come up there, hit 50-50 across there, and then down into there, you're a man braver than I, because transition that big scares the living bejeebers out of me. Right here we have like the mini pool, and trust me, this thing's like 10 to 11 feet, and this is...
Bit of an over-exaggeration. This is probably more like 6 feet, maybe 5 in the shallow end that I'm looking at now, and maybe like 7 to 9 in the deep end.
The mini pool. So you better be waiting, because we've got a fucking huge one over there.
That's
Absolutely
true, though.
outrageous. This one's got some pool coping as well, so if you hit the grind on this, you know it sounds super satisfying. That, you know the ones. Right here we have a mini version of what was on the other side that I just showed you with the vert that I said I wasn't going to be doing it because it scares the bejeebers out of me. And then this pool is absolutely huge. It starts here and finishes all the way over there. Like I'll overlay the drone footage now.
Like that oververt there, the drone isn't doing it much justice because of the fisheye lens on it, or the wide angle lens, but the size of that ramp, that's probably like a 12 to 13 foot ramp, maybe even 14, because I think it's over double my height. And as you can see, it goes all the way over vert by like 30 to 45 degrees. It's crazy, man.
You can see exactly how big it is. I had to do a super skilled flyby to get around all the little bits and bobs, but we made it happen. Oh, hi. Didn't see you there. Mainly because I'm so small here at the bottom of these ramps, but we're going to go through anyway. This is but only the beginning. Right here, we have so many different ramps of shapes and sizes. You've got this giant, like, flat bank type thing that's not quite vert. That's probably the most mellow bit of this whole section. You've got multiple hips that Holly is standing right over now that you could hit, and they're big gaps, by the way. That's like a 4-foot gap in between one ramp to the other. So if you're a big boy skater that loves to do death-defying stuff, this park has everything you could possibly need. This section is oververt, and one of the biggest oververt parts of a skate park I have ever seen in my entire life. Like, literally,
it's huge.
It's double my height, and it goes...
Like, look at that compared to me. It's massive. Like, you would never want to drop it. Like, I don't even know if you could drop it on that, if gravity would allow it, but that is one of the scariest ramps I've ever seen in my entire life.
It was like this. Like, I'll overlay the drone footage again so you can see, but it's absolutely redonkulous. And then going in to now the deep end, because trust, this is not the deep end. Going down here, I'm going to ride straight through this puddle because crazy like that. And now, as you can see, I'm absolutely tiny in this thing. Like, look at the size of these ramps compared to me. And
I'd be saying absolutely way too much, I cannot lie.
as you can see, it's dirty at the bottom, so for that reason, I was going to hit it for a nice little blunt stool or whatever, but I'm going to have to pass because I don't want to get my new shoes dirty. You know, they're white, and that I'm sure you can understand. So this ramp is absolutely humongous, probably at least 50 feet in height, because I'm about 15 feet myself. So this one is going in the avoid pile for me. All right, now, just for fun, let's see if I can climb out. First, I'm going to throw my board up. Okay, wish me luck.
Just be careful.
I thought this would be much harder than it was, but it was actually really easy to get out. But I mean, for someone that's not got any upper body strength,
that was actually easy. And another thing
I can see why that would be pretty difficult. Like, if you were a kid and there was no way to get out around the other side, because there's obviously like a little ramp around the other side, if there was a kid in there, they would be stuck in there for good, probably.
Just noticed is this bit is slightly oververt as well. Like, literally just goes over by like a couple millimeters. But again, ramps like this always want to be as scary as humanly possible, because I don't know, for people that skate stuff like this, I've got nothing but the utmost respect for you. Because imagine, right, it's not only like 15 feet in height, you're also going to be standing at the top of it. I'm 6 feet tall, so I'm looking down 21. I'm standing at the top of a building, about to go into it on a 4-wheel device that could throw me off at any moment for the tiniest pebble. Damn, man. Big up to you if you skate shit like this.
Right, well, that was the best and worst skate park in Copenhagen. Overall, the second one, definitely a 5 out of 5 Tonys. Drop what country you want me to go to next. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.